George Galloway's party is still backing candidates that have been accused of anti-Semitism. We're going to read into this more from the Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Times with the headline that George Galloway's party is still backing candidates that have been accused of anti-Semitism. More than a tenth of people running for the Workers' Party of Great Britain have been flagged over content that they have published online. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So some of the tone and the wordings that some of these candidates have been using have been nothing short of abhorrent, and they're pretty outrageous. And obviously we're talking obviously about the situation that's happening. This is obviously a lot of comments that's related to the situation that is happening in Gaza, with how Israel are conducting themselves within the Gaza Strip. Now, it's entirely possible that at the time of this recording, perhaps George Galloway's position and the Workers' Party may have changed their position, and maybe they have pulled out of some of these candidates. I would say I'd take that with a pinch of salt. However, there is a way, obviously, of talking about this situation, but there is also lines that are crossed as well. And there have been lines, without a shadow of a doubt, that George Galloway's party and himself have crossed in the past, where, I understand the anger and frustration. I strongly believe that there should be a ceasefire right here, right now. The guns should be put down. The bloodshed needs to stop. Benjamin Netanyahu needs to pay for his crimes. The IDF need to be held accountable for its actions. But that doesn't mean to say that Hamas should not be held accountable for what the atrocities that should be done as well. Absolutely, they should be so. All the hostages should be released on both sides, not both by Hamas and by Israel, by Israeli as well. And there should be a solution. There should be negotiations to resolve a two-state solution in which the the Palestine is recognized as a state that it is, and that it could be free to decide and dictate its own futures without being ruled by Israel. And Israel should be able to feel that it can be safe and not without the threats of Israel coming over it. And I do believe that that can be achieved, even if it seems like an impossible dream. There are lots of things that couldn't be done, that people were told that would never be done and never be achieved, and I do believe that will be the case. But this is quite tenuous, and I'm gonna read there's quite a bit in this, so I'm gonna read into this, and I'll obviously talk more as we go along. But yeah, some of the comments that you hear are quite strong. So George Galloway's Workers' Party of Britain continues to back more than a dozen candidates accused of anti-Semitism, including one who said that Zionist Jews are rapists and child killers. Now, I have not, at the time of this recording, I have not heard stories or seen video footage online of this kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying that there may not be some IDF soldiers potentially doing this. I'm not saying they are. There may be, there may not be. But to make such an accusation, to make such a claim, is incredibly brutal, and especially if you're not going to have any information or video footage to back it up, you're not helping anyone in this situation. So Cameron Khan, the party's candidate for the Popular and Limehouse in East London, wrote on June the 5th on Twitter that Zionists are rapists and Zionists kill kids, and that they play victim. Zionists are trying to legalize pedos. This is incredibly, this is bang out of all the comments. To make such accusations like this, throwing around these accusations, again, unless you have evidence to support this kind of thing, you should not be making these comments. It's really, really stupid comments. He should be dropped as a candidate. He also reposted a photo of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, from the account Joshua Chushkin on Twitter X this month with the caption, "The Hitler of worlds today, and that Israel is a Nazi state, not a Jewish state." Yeah, I'm not going to be able to monetize this video. This is yeah, this kind of like I can get why some people have those words and feelings, but again, like there are lines here, and again, I really want to stress this. I understand, and I talk about this all the time, how angry I am about Israel and the way it's conducting itself within the Gaza Strip and the way it's conducting itself in the West Bank. I'm fully aware of that, but there are certain words and lines that you are crossing here. Galloway, who claims to be the nation's most followed politician, has 455,000 subscribers on YouTube, won a by-election in Rochdale in February and on a Gaza ticket, and is now fighting to retain his seat. He referred to Hamas, which is prescribed as a terrorist organisation in the UK, as the leading force in the Palestinian resistance movement, as recently as June the 12th on his YouTube channel. He denies that Israel has any right of self-defense. On his program last month, he also failed to challenge a contributor who said Hamas October 7th massacre was carried out by the Israelis by their helicopters. Again, this is insane to make these kind of wild accusations without any evidence to support them is folly. It's absolutely folly, guys. There's no evidence whatsoever to suggest such things. Khan was criticised this month on a range of media outlets, including The Telegraph and the Jewish Chronicle, for sharing a post on Twitter which read that the Holocaust Remembrance Day represents a galactic load of victimhood. Like, again, it's just completely out of order. When approached this week by the Times, Khan said he stood by his comments about Zionists and shared a series of articles from mainstream media organisations reporting claims of atrocities by Israel, the theft of Palestinian homes in the West Bank by Israeli settlers, in which they call the country's pedos. Pay those problems. No one is denying. I'm not denying this. We know this is happening. We know that this is happening, and the problem is the mainstream media are not covering enough about that. And it is absolutely disgusting that what they are doing by pushing Palestinian people out of the West Bank against their will. We know that, but yeah, these name calling is not helping anyone anywhere. Khan is one of 17 Workers' Party of Britain candidates to express views alleged to be anti-Semitic or in apparent support of Hamas. The Times has passed a list onto the party. In total, the party is putting up candidates in more than 150 seats, meaning these represent more than a tenth of their slate. Dr. Mehmood Jamish, the Workers' Party candidate for Michigan and Morden, wrote two posts on Twitter X on the 29th of May and 31st that Hamas October 7th massacre was a false flag operation in which no one was killed. Again, this is not true. This is BS. Like this wild accusations. When approached for comment, Jamshed said social media is full of evidence and of this claim, but mainstream media refuses to repost it. The evidence of this is nonsense. That no one was. He's claiming here that no one was killed. There is evidence there. The evidence online is there. People saw it. Literally saw it. What Hamas did. Like literally. Like come on. Like that's just nonsense. Social media is full of evidence. Yeah, there's full of evidence that people were killed from October 7th attack. Not no evidence. Nonsense. Chris Williamson, the party's deputy leader and former Labour MP, praised the terrorist attack as an audacious military offensive by Palestinian freedom fighters. This is why you should not vote for the Workers' Party of the UK. It's insane comments, guys. On his show, Palestine Declassified broadcast on Iranian state-funded press TV channel in October, he told the Times at the time that I don't want to see anyone killed. I'm a vegan, and at the end of the day, armed resistance is enshrined in international law. Seem to have changed your tune since then, haven't you? Colin Tusker, the WOP candidate for Dover and Deal in Kent, wrote on Twitter X on the June the 9th that every MP in the Labour's Friends of Israel group has a Zionist handler who is in consistent contact telling them what to do, and if Starmer becomes Prime Minister, he would have to ask some Zionist scum what to do every 5 minutes. Again, this is absolute BS, and the reason why this is absolute BS and completely unacceptable comments. they have compromised with the Labour group Friends of Israel in the party. They're even in their Labour's manifesto, which the Friends of Israel group I don't think agree with. They want to recognise Palestine as a state. It's in the Labour manifesto. Do you think, that they would have approved that in their manifesto? I know Labour has its problems when it comes to the issue on this, but this is completely ridiculous. It really, really is. Tariq Al-Mawi, standing in the Karagon Prosky, posted an image in April on Twitter implying that Angela Rayner was a prostitute and liked a reply that said that she should charge Israeli shekels. Again, why would you vote for this disgusting party making these kind of outrageous accusations? Jodie McTire, who could topple Labour's Jess Phillips in Birmingham Yardsley, said that Labour Friends of Israel group should be prescribed as a terrorist organisation in a post on Twitter X in May, a month after he liked a post calling Sir Keir Starmer a puppet of a fascist state. Again, this is outrageous comments, ridiculous stuff. Chowdi Yaskir Asgol, standing in Bulawu Grenk and Wyoming, wrote in separate Facebook posts between 2019 and 2023 that Israel's behind the ISIS creation, that Zionists are behind most of the atrocities around the globe, and that most of the world's convicted philanthropies take shelter in Israel. Again, nonsense. This is all QAnon conspiracy nonsense. Please don't be a part of these insane Facebook groups, these kind of people. They clearly are just making stuff up to get your attention. There's no evidence of this kind of stuff, guys. Harabuti, the candidate for Bradford South, agreed that it was not wrong to try and relocate Israel to America in a post on Twitter in January. In 2013, he said that the world's financial institutions are controlled by Jews. When approached for comment this week, Buta said that whatever I've said in the past is not the person I am today, and I unreservedly apologise for the offence that I have caused. These are the kind of candidates that the Workers' Party wants to bring into Parliament. These are the kind of people with these kind of comments, these kind of faults in their heads. You don't want anybody like that in Parliament, guys. You really, really do not. Russell Langir, Director of Public Affairs at the Jewish Leadership Council, said, "It is clearly not an isolated issue when so many candidates from the Workers' Party display blatant example of anti-Semitism and apparent support for their actions for the terror organisation Hamas. In selecting these candidates, the party appears to have either turned a blind eye to such hate or, at worst, made it a core part of its offering to the nation." A spokesperson for Campaign Against Anti-Semitism says the sheer number of cases of extreme rhetoric from Workers' Party candidates that breaches the international definition of anti-Semitism is astounding. All parties have a responsibility to minimise tension and communal division, and the Workers' Party have a lot of work ahead of it and very little time to improve in doing so. Given the party's leaders, George Galloway and Chris Williamson, both have a long and despicable history of baiting the Jewish community, and we will not be holding our breath. Williamson did not comment on his candidate's views, but in response to the allegations about his party, he said the campaign against anti-Semitism, biolovating about anti-Semitism, is only taken seriously by genocidal Zionist extremists. Jews are not discriminated against in the UK and by far the most overprivileged minority group. Shulliking about supposed anti-Semitism while bloodthirsty Zionist fanatics are engaged in a genocide in Palestine is a shameful definition attempt and takes the British people for fools. Galloway was fired by Talk Radio in 2019 after celebrating Tottenham Football Club's loss in the Champions League final by posting there would be no Israeli flag on the cup, a phase the club labelled blatant anti-Semitism. That is blatant anti-Semitism there. The year before, Ofcom found the radio show breached impartiality rules in reporting accusations of anti-Semitism in Jamie Corben's Labour Party. At the time, Galloway says Ofcom investigation was a scandalous waste of public money. The Times reported this month that several Green Party candidates had shared allegedly anti-Semitic conspiracy theories online. The party said they were being addressed, but serious, but only a small number of election candidates were ditched before the lists were finalised. Yes, I have commented about the Green Party candidates that many of them, a lot of them got dropped out, because of them. But it's certainly the Green Party is very, very minority in comparison to these lot. Tasker declined to comment on his social media activity, instead questioned the Times' journalistic independence due to alleged links you have with the Labour Party, accusing the newspaper of printing misinformation. Al-Mawadi, Azdig and McTighe did not respond to repeated requests for comments. So right here, like, just because the Times, like, I don't always cover things from the Times, but they're already claiming that they have links to the Labour Party, and they bash the Labour Party just as much as anyone else there. So I don't really buy that comment, but guys, I don't like. Normally, I always say to you guys to vote with your conscience, vote with who you think is best intention. Don't vote for the Workers' Party of Great Britain if they come up on your ballot box. Really don't. Really do not. Like they are not serving the interest of you. They certainly are not interest of wanting this. They are literally just taking advantage of this situation that is happening within the Middle East, guys. That is what it is. You know, there are lines being crossed here. Okay, there are lines being crossed here. Of course, everybody wants a humanitarian ceasefire, but some of the language and the tone that is being used by some of the candidates here really are crossing terrible lines, and we must not ever sink down to those levels. I get the anger and I get the frustration of what's happening over there. I really do, but it does not mean we should sink there to the levels of the kind of language that some of these candidates are using. So whatever you do, do not vote for this party. Do not vote for George Galloway. They do not serve your interests. They certainly do not represent the people of Palestine. They do not represent Muslim communities. They do not represent what's happening there, and they certainly do come across more like in favoritism towards Hamas here. So really, you know, wherever you cast your vote, make sure it's not towards a party of this sort in any way, shape, or form. Stay away from them is the best thing. And I generally hope George Galloway gets kicked to the curb on voting day as well, because while there are at times some people will say that he's all right, but like allowing some of those candidates to stand has been nothing short of abhorrent. I know there's lots of reform candidates have been questioned too, but there's the Workers' Party of Great Britain needs to be stomped out. Needs to be stomped out, guys. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of some of the candidates? Some of them are being accused of anti-Semitism. Some of the language that is being used here. Let me know your thoughts about them and more in the comments section down below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video, and subscribe because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me in the work that I do here, you could do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.